Bob Wischusen alongside Fran Fraschilla. And coach, the job for Bob Huggins to try to mentally rehabilitate his team after what was a meltdown all the way back on Monday night.
I think that team wanted to get on the court the very next day, but Bob Huggins did something he hasn't done very much in 35 years. He gave them Tuesday and Wednesday off. Now, a lot of guys were still in the gym working on their game, but they wanted to get them fresh and ready to play their next one. And we'll find out how much energy this Mountaineer team comes out with.
What's the hardest part of dealing with a loss like that? And maybe this team in particular, how hard-working this West Virginia group is. You're right, it seemed like there was a different intensity level even at today's morning shoot-around.
Grief, it's grief. It's not as serious as death. But on the court, it's grief. You feel terrible about what happened. But you get to do it again.
Stepping out, shooting the three. Off the mark, Zach Smith. Offensive rebound, but we've got a foul call. That will be the first foul of the game. Called on Anthony Livingston.
Now, Bob, for Texas Tech, coming off that Baylor win, they're still trying to pad that resume. And remember, they defeated West Virginia in their first meeting in Lubbock.
Elijah Macon gets the Mountaineers on the board to start.
I'm curious to see how good the full court pressure will be today. Is there going to be a little extra effort?
How about how this Texas Tech group is equipped to handle the press?
Very well. Remember, only 13 turnovers in 45 minutes in the first meeting, and guess what? There's a quick one.
Right on cue, Keenan Evans misses the connection with Nine Stevenson. Evans is in the top 10 in assist-to-turnover ratio in the Big 12. And this is a team that doesn't turn it over often, Texas Tech, averaging less than 11 per game.
And the Mountaineers pretty good, too, moving the ball, Bob. They really do. They don't take a lot of bad shots.
Carter looking for a seam, sets up Issa Ahmad. He's short. It's run down by Stevenson.
Stevenson, the JUCO transfer out of Seward County, has played very well lately.
Ahmad rebounds the Livingston miss. Tariq Phillip leans in. And Chris Beard in his first year in Lubbock. Of course, last season, 1 year at Little Rock, 30-5, a Sun Belt record for wins and a 15-game improvement. And just on the heels of taking the UNLV job, turns out that Josh Pastner leaves Memphis. Tubby Smith goes to Memphis, and all of a sudden the quote-unquote dream job for Chris Beard opens up, and he ends up at Texas Tech.
Exactly. The 19 days in Las Vegas, not enough to qualify for state teacher's pension there. But this is home for him because, remember, he spent 10 years as an assistant coach to both Bob and Pat Knight. And they play very much like a Bob Knight team, especially on offense, with the motion offense, a lot of cutting and screening.
West Virginia presses on 41% of opponent possessions. #1 in America, and would be #1 for the 3rd year in a row as Press Virginia lives up to its reputation. Evan Thomas passes one that's deflected out of bounds by Adrian. And that is something that Bob Huggins and his coaching staff, they chart it. It doesn't necessarily have to result in a turnover, but we'll be charting it all day today. Deflections and how they impact Texas Tech possessions.
Absolutely, Bob. Think of it as a pressure in football. A sack is like a turnover. A pressure would be akin to a deflection because it's very disruptive. It's not necessarily a game-changing play. As you saw, Texas Tech recover nicely with the low shot clock, but it's part of their DNA, West Virginia.
Keenan Evans knocks it down, but still a challenge shot with the shot clock winding down. And now it looks like we've got a foul underneath. That's going to go against Elijah Macon.
Here's what I want you to watch today when you watch West Virginia on defense. It measures your defensive intensity causes turnovers, and even when you don't get a turnover, it can disrupt the opponent's offense. They got to take it out of bounds. It's a low shot clock, and field goal percentage drops.
A steal. Adrian with the hit ahead. One touch to Isa. Ahmad from Carter.
He's the most important player on his team, Nathan Adrian. He may not be the leading scorer, but he's the heart and soul of this club. Perfect example.
Zach Smith. Turned it over, and a foul is called. That'll go against Aaron Ross.
There's the double team now. You see the hand by Adrian. He gets about 6 or 7 deflections a game. Of course, he's at the point of the press, but he knows when to come and trap. It's like being in a sophisticated NFL defense, Bob. A year, 2, 3 in the system, and it becomes second nature to you.
Already we've seen the impact of the press and those deflections. That's already 3 turnovers for a Texas Tech team that's second best in the Big 12, averaging less than 11 per game. So they've got 1 field goal and 3 turnovers in the first 3 minutes.
And it was a big reason why they were able to beat West Virginia in Lubbock, because they, as we mentioned earlier, only 13 in 45 minutes.
Looks like Zach Smith got cut. So he had to be patched up, but also left behind, staying on the court. They have to take care of that. And Bob Huggins, in terms of current head coaches, trailing only Jim Boeheim and Mike Krzyzewski in terms of active coaches all time in wins.
Exactly. Yeah, amazing career. He wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth in terms of taking over elite programs. He's worked his way up from NAIA all the way up to obviously the Big 12. A lot of stops in between.
And now back at his alma mater. Adrian thought about it. Now a wild one out to midcourt. Carter couldn't save it, so an errant pass is a West Virginia turnover.
And I think Adrian wanted Javon Carter to kind of float to the open spot. Threw that ball away. Good matchup. Keenan Evans has played terrific basketball for Texas Tech. Become one of the best point guards in the league with terrific point guards.
Ross for 3. Adrian the rebound. Phillip with a step back. Yes.
He's a senior that's done starting very many games in his career. But they've gone with Phillip instead of Daxter Miles, who's been very inconsistent. What do you think of the energy so far by the team that gave away that big lead?
They look like the team that wanted to get back on the court as quickly as possible. And they are emblematic of their head coach. They are emblematic of the town that they play in. And we'll explain when we come back. This is a blue-collar town with a blue-collar team.
On the road again.
Why?
Well, Joe Argiro from Country Club Bakery in Fairmont, he invented the pepperoni roll so the miners could take the pepperoni roll down into the mines as a lunch item because they don't fall apart. The cheese, the tomato sauce, the dough.
See, think about how much more effective that explanation would have been had we had samples to show people what the pepperoni roll does for the miners.
We're just going to have to do without it, but we're
I
going
don't know. Maybe we keep our fingers crossed and something happens before the game's over. Nothing so shameless as an announcer looking for another trip to the media buffet without having to leave the table as Tariq Phillip can't hit. Stevenson leans in. Rolls it over the front of the rim. Strong drive from Naeem Stevenson.
Yeah, he's a big guard, getting his feet wet early in the year, but like a lot of junior college players, his junior year, second half has been really productive. He's going to have a good year and a half in Lubbock.
Watkins throws it away. A steal underneath by a glue guy for Texas Tech, Justin Gray, who you said has really caught your eye their last several games.
Absolutely. Plays really hard. Offensive rebound, steals. Good ball movement.
Shot clock winding down. Ross, tough shot, and he is able to connect on the turnaround.
Ross and Livingston play the 5 spot, but they're really stretch players. They both can play away from the basket.
A little 6-0 run by the Red Raiders ties the game up.
I do an all-defensive team. Justin Gray and Javon Carter matched up right now. They're going to have a spot on it each, I think.
Carter can't hit it. Zach Smith taps it. So it will stay with West Virginia. And tonight on ESPN, number 13, Kentucky, taking on Georgia at 6 Eastern in the second half of the doubleheader in prime time at 8:15, Virginia, North Carolina. College basketball tonight at 6 and 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Of course, always streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN.
It's been a long time, 6 or 7 years since Virginia's dropped 3 games in a row. They have a 2-game losing streak right now.
Ahmad just a little too strong on the floater in the lane. Chance for Texas Tech to take their first lead.
I want you to watch Tech's ball movement and screening. They don't hold it very long. It usually leaves the hand so they can swing it side to side.
Stevenson, the reverse.
Telling you, Bob, he's going to be an all-conference player next year. Naeem Stevenson from Dallas. He's about 6'5", and he's a 2-guard.
Left alone is James Bolden. He's off the mark. And a foul against the Mountaineers. That'll go against Zach Konate.
Yeah, this guy's played very, very well lately. Last 7 games, he's averaging about almost 14 a game in conference play. 4 of the 5 starters for Texas Tech are juniors. And like we've said all season, this league is set up next year to be extremely strong.
Well, coming up after our next break, we're going to talk about what this Texas Tech team needs to get into the NCAA tournament. But they are a team that not many college basketball fans may be familiar with. They don't get national exposure. But if you follow the Big 12, you know who they are, because they have some very impressive wins, as Devin Thomas will head to the line, including the last time these two teams met down in Lubbock, where Tech won in overtime. They beat West Virginia. Obviously, the win we documented just at the start, as they took out a top 5 team in Baylor, and they were 1 free throw from Josh Jackson away from before the Baylor win, beating Kansas as well.
The toughest part for Texas Tech right now is, in the eyes of the basketball committee, is going to be its non-conference schedule. There's not a lot of power teams on there. They didn't beat a lot of quality teams. But they have work to do down the stretch, Bob, including a game like this. And I think they can get in with an 8-10 record in conference play. I don't have any doubt about that.
I think that was something that Joe Lunardi was speculating about as well, that this is one of the weaker bubbles, as Miles looks for a trailer and a blocking foul is called. It's a weak bubble, especially in terms of mid-major teams. So more so than in other years, are you going to see some teams like a Texas Tech, maybe below 500 on their conference schedule, but they might get in because the competition isn't there from some mid-major levels that has been in the past?
Yes, absolutely. And because the Big 12 is so well regarded this year, its strength of schedule is going to help a team like this team.
Ahmad West with a chance for a 3-point play.
Now, if you look at Texas Tech, they have some winnable games coming up. There you see the toughest schedules in the country. according to the BPI.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That speaks not only to some of the out-of-conference games that these teams are taking on, but also how much respect the league gets, because when any of those teams play each other, they don't hurt strength of schedule. In fact, they all help each other.
Well, you look at Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and K-State among the last 4 games after today for Texas Tech, and they would all be quality wins on your resume. Good press break right there by Texas Tech.
Look at Zach Smith at 6'8", taking care of it himself as he gets it across the timeline. Evans thought about a 3. Stevenson, nice setup. The reverse won't go. Jadale Millinghouse, though, draws the foul.
15, Lamont West, called the first of his second.
Second foul on Lamont West.
Millinghouse at the line for the Red Raiders, 2 shots.
Jadale Millinghouse hasn't scored a point in the last 7 games. A chance to get on the board here.
Checking for the Mountaineers.
A pair of misses at the line.
Very sound half-court defense by Texas Tech. They don't overplay a lot. They play inside the 3-point line. They pack it in, and the help is very good. Watch how they all play with high hands.
Davon Myers stepped on the sideline. Millinghouse to the bench, replaced by Justin Gray. Thomas Brandsma into the game for the first time. Zach Smith will sit. Just grabbing a little extra time before the under-12 timeout for some of his starters is Chris Beard. Livingston, defended by Adrian, but is able to put back the miss.
And that started because West Virginia gave up penetration on the baseline. And Livingston, a transfer from Arkansas State, really, I really like him. He's been a great 5th-year guy. You talk about one-and-done guys. He's a really good one-and-done guy for this Texas Tech team. Makes threes, hustles.
Phillip thought about a 3. Now Carter will try one. Jevon Carter a triple. That puts West Virginia back on top. Evans sets up Gray. The flip won't go. Adrian saves it.
Another hustle play by Nathan Adrian.
Carter for 3. He's got another. Back-to-back triples for Carter.
And all that does is set the press up and get this crowd into it. Let's see when Adrian comes and traps. It's random.
Keenan Evans not only beats the trap, but Jevon Carter is called for the foul.
Well, this 3, Bob, set up by the hustle by Adrian. Watch him keep it in play. And now they go the other way. Inside out. Jevon Carter from deep.
Baylor. If the Big 12 is represented with 2 teams on the top line, that would be very indicative of the strength of schedule and the strength that this conference has in terms of its national reputation, because we put that up earlier. We've got 8 of the top 10 hardest schedules in college basketball in the Big 12.
Yeah, exactly. Now the problem is one of those teams may knock each other off at least temporarily from the top line. And the ACC might be the beneficiary of that, because They probably have been the strongest league from the standpoint of, look, they got 15 teams, and they could get as many as 9 or 10 in. I love that Louisville team I saw last week. To me, they play as good a defense as anybody in the country. Now, Bob, you see that play by Myers? That was a deflection. It's not a turnover, but now Texas Tech has to take the ball out of bounds versus pressure, 21 on the clock, and reset their offense. That's why I say it's the equivalent of a pressure in football. Disruptive.
Stevenson comes up short. Here comes Tavon Myers. A little ball fake. Rejected, though, by Zach Smith.
One of the best shot blockers in this league.
Stevenson for 3. Knocks it down.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, we're watching a burgeoning star. We start talking about next year. I know Red Raider fans are saying, what about this year? Well, guess what? He's playing the best basketball of his junior year right now. Bodes well.
Issa Ahmad. He'll shoot 2.
Boy, and I thought he just willed that ball into traffic.
Justin Gray picks up his first team foul number 6 on Texas Tech. So both teams now out of fouls to give. So we'll shoot free throws the rest of the first half. Issa Ahmad has had 2 20-point efforts this season. Both have come against Kansas. He saved his best for when the lights have been brightest. And Sunday at 4 Eastern on ESPN, UConn takes on Temple. The Huskies have won 6 of their last 7. They're above 500 for the first time this season. See if the Owls can get a conference win at home. That's tomorrow, 4 Eastern on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Yeah, it took UConn all season to get over 500, but they've done a good job. Hey, first time we're watching Daxter Miles today, Bob. He's been a little bit in the doghouse because of his effort. It's been 11 minutes before he appeared. Anxious to see his effort level today.
Smith stumbles. Evans fades away. Knocks down another 3. And that makes it a 1-point game.
I don't know if he's a pure point guard. Chris Beard calls him a combo guard. But boy, is he playing well. And he's really giving him a lift offensively.
Issa Ahmad stumbles and falls. Turns it over. Keenan Evans has been in double figures the last 14 games he's played.
Take a look right here, knocking it down. A young man from Richardson, Texas, outside of Dallas. Great bloodlines. His dad, Kenny, was an Olympic high jumper in 2000 in Sydney. Mom played basketball at Arkansas Pine Bluff.
And there he is, giving Texas Tech the lead back.
I have good timing.
5th lead change here in the first half. And you are a seer, there's no doubt. You are the Karnak of the Big 12.
I don't know about that, but Keenan Evans made us look good right there. He's made Chris Beard look good this season. Bob, when you watch Texas Tech, and we have this year, they're just a solid basketball team.
Shot clock to 3. Bolden has to force one up. Offensive rebound. Brandon Watkins was blocked inside, challenged again by Zach Smith. Stevenson crosses over, wild shot, and gets bailed out with a foul call.
Now watch this home run play off the press. Zach Smith hooking up. Nice catch by Evans, and then the soft touch. Cliff Kingsbury would have liked that throw downfield.
He's going to need a new guy to make those throws with Patrick Mahomes heading to the NFL.
I think you need, if you play quarterback at Texas Tech, at least half the time you need Tommy John surgery.
Yes, you need a rubber arm.
Yeah. Pat Mahomes' dad was a major league pitcher, so he knows something about rubber arms, right?
And with the Twins, the Mets for a while, I believe.
You don't see Tech play a lot of matchup zone. I don't know if they're in zone or they showed the zone, but they're really staying man-to-man. They did this before. Did this to Kansas early in the year.
Tariq Phillip looking for room. Shot clock to 5. Beetle Bolden, the floater. Offensive foul call. Thomas Brandsma stood his ground and took the charge. Texas Tech with a 1-point lead here in Morgantown.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when I was too busy with the kids to get a repair estimate.
Liberty did.
But with the cheese, okay?
That's well drawn.
Yeah, so the dough keeps the pepperoni and the cheese inside, and when they take it down into the coal mines, it doesn't fall apart. And I can just tell you, this stuff's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a reason, by the way, that you can see inside Fran's pepperoni roll right now, and that is I'll be doing this possession by myself. Because he is continuing to display the schematic of the pepperoni roll.
I'm back.
No, you're not. Deflection and a takeaway in the corner by Tariq Phillip, but he stepped on the end line.
9 deflections for West Virginia so far. Remember,
What's a good number for the game? What are they shooting for?
45 to 50 would be great. Now in conference play, now that they're in 45 during the non-conference, they're down to around 40 in conference when they win. Under 30 when they lose in conference. So they only have 9 so far.
Through about 13 minutes. Obviously,
right.
Doing the simple math, you want a deflection a minute or so. A 40 is going to be your benchmark. Evans. Long rebound to Tavon Myers.
And we've seen a lot of Tavon Myers off the bench today.
Issa Ahmad can't hit it. Over to Texas Tech. Nathan Adrian is number 4 in the Big 12 in offensive rebounds per game. So that frustrated look, he knows he missed an opportunity. He usually grabs about 3 offensive rebounds per game. Does allow West Virginia to set up their pressure, though.
Yeah, I think Phillip got a piece of that, but it came right back to Evans.
Evans floats one.
Nice
Off
catch.
the backboard, Zach Smith is able to finish.
Between the blocked shots and the hustle around the rim, you see why Zach Smith is having a good year. Now watch, it looks like a zone, Bob, and I think they've got West Virginia in a zone offense, but I think they're in man-to-man myself.
Phillip knocks down an NBA 3.
That pressure's relentless. So far, so good for Tech.
A takeaway, Tariq Phillip to Adrian. Offensive rebound, Kanate. He'll go to the line. Matthew Temple called for the foul.
Boy, how good is this Kanate kid going to be? A young man from Mali. There's the pressure now. Look at the hands. That's not only a deflection, but it's a steal. And then Kanate comes flying in there. We saw him block 5 shots at Oklahoma.
He's earned more and more playing time as the year has gone on. Not unusual for Kanate to play 10, 12 minutes in a game and still block 2 or 3 shots.
No, I agree. And I really like that freshman class. You think of West and Bolden, Kanate. We haven't seen Majik Bender yet. But Bob Huggins has got a couple of freshmen that I think can turn into really good Big 12 players.
Kanate to the bench. Elijah Macon replaces him.
With a 1-3-1, they switch to defense.
Stevenson creates some room. Draws the foul.
Foul is called on Lamont West.
Lamont West picks up his 3rd. So the redshirt freshman's going to have to head to the bench. Tariq Phillips already at the scorer's table. ready to come back in for West Virginia. And Naeem Stevenson, who has now been in double figures 6 of his last 7 games.
Tariq Phillip checks into the mound.
That possession had nothing going for Texas Tech, and Stevenson luckily made a good play to get fouled.
Justin Gray replaces Stevenson.
Checks back in for the Red Raiders.
You watch Texas Tech, Bob, it's a very mature looking team and well coached. And they don't really beat themselves. They know what they're doing. We watched a very spirited practice at 8 o'clock this morning.
Tariq Phillip. Offensive foul. Cleared some space with the left arm, and Michael Stevens rung him up. Tariq Phillip picks up his first.
Yep, he did it twice on one play.
Welcome to Morgantown, Michael Stevens.
Looks like they stayed in that 1-3-1, but they switched, and they put Phillip at the top.
To shoot. Devin Thomas not recognizing it. Weaves his way inside. Flips a finger roll up. Never hit the rim. Shot clock violation.
If you attack the 1-3-1 zone, you got to play behind it. You got to deploy some red jerseys down on the baseline in the middle. You don't want to be fooling with the 4 defenders out top. Triangle offense now by West Virginia. 3 inside.
Adrian one-on-one in the post. Jump hook won't go. Another rebound for Zach Smith.
Watch where they deploy. It's better there. See that, Bob?
Nice shot fake, but a traveling violation is called on Temple.
That was a good possession by Texas Tech. They got the ball behind the defense, and Temple, the former walk-on, just traveled.
Another possession with the shot clock winding down. Both of these teams have taken the shot clock deep. Miles with 4 to shoot. Reverse is good. Nice drive by Dexter Miles.
Sneaky, but he was under control, and he knows if he gets to the other side of the rim, the shot blocker gets put in jail. Sneaky play by Miles.
Deflection. Smith recovers. Sets up Stevenson. It's a triple. And that puts Texas Tech back on top by a point.
Boy,
what a back-and-forth half this has been.
How about Stevenson? If I told you coming in, he looks like an all-conference player, right? You'd say that's what he's showing out here.
He's got 2 20-point games, both in the last 2 for Texas Tech against top 5 teams, against Baylor and Kansas. He's been on fire of late. Here's Macon, blocked. Another challenged shot by Texas Tech, but that's off the knees of Keenan Evans, out of bounds. Back and forth here in Morgantown between Tech and West Virginia.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Fran Fraschilla continues to
Good snack.
Homage to the pepperoni roll here in the first half. Well, Kansas and Baylor right now doing battle, and it's amazing. Year after year after year, we are right here with KU at the top of the league as Javon Carter looking for some space. 3 to shoot. Gives it up to Adrian. Out of bounds. And it looks like it'll stay with West Virginia. How about the consistency, though? Even if Kansas goes down today, still in the driver's seat to win the league.
Yeah, and I talking to Bill Self earlier in the year, or in the conference, he'll tell you that it has not been an easy road for them this year, Bob. You think about it. They struggled to beat Kansas State, Texas Tech at home. They lost to Iowa State. Obviously, the West Virginia game. And I think it says a lot about their mental toughness and the winning DNA they have. They have not blown through this league, but they're winning games, and they're doing it in a championship style in terms of their effort.
Aiken. Yes.
I tell you what he did. He took it right through Zach Smith's chin. So there was no way Zach Smith could react because Macon put it right in his face and shot it. Took away his length. Staying in that 1-3-1.
Evan Thomas with the shot clock down to 6. Gives it up to Gray. To the corner to Stevenson. In traffic, too strong. Offensive rebound, but a shot clock violation. Zach Smith got the miss, but the ball never hit the rim.
Here's that play before, Bob. Watch when Macon gets the ball inside. Smith doesn't even have a chance to block this shot because he puts it right up through his face. And in fact, it wasn't Smith, it was Ross. But the power move by the youngster from Columbus, quick release.
Aiken had 8 points and 8 rebounds in the game at Kansas on Monday night. And he was probably the most effective paint player on a night where West Virginia's guards did an amazing job until the last 2 minutes and 45 seconds. The officials took a look to see if the last shot hit the rim, and looks like they have the
After a review, is a shot clock violation against Texas Tech. West Virginia basketball.
They do indeed uphold the call that was made on the floor.
Texas Tech with a little 2-2-1 pressure. Call this a nuisance press.
More than a nuisance.
Yeah.
There's Justin Gray getting the steal, but Keenan Evans couldn't handle the low pass.
That's that effort we've talked about with Justin Gray. This is a young man that chose Texas Tech over Harvard. Tommy Amaker was really high on him. His older brother Jonathan played at Cornell. So a bright young man. But he is just a glue-type player. Doesn't shoot it great from deep, but he does a lot of little things to help you win.
Carter left alone. The long rebound. Here comes Keenan Evans.
And we're staying right in that 1-3-1. You see Adrian out top.
Stevenson for 3.
He's unguardable. Unguardable.
What a first half for Naeem Stevenson. 17, including 3 triples.
And the interesting thing is, it's not a surprise to people who've been following Texas Tech the last month or so.
Ahmad can't answer.
Good patience. Stevenson was thinking of jacking it.
Ross will instead. He's got it. Another 3 for Tech. And they open up a 5-point lead. It's a 6-0 run on back-to-back threes. And now the crowd gets a little antsy here in Morgantown, and Bob Huggins wants a timeout.
West Virginia timeout.
We will step aside for 30 seconds and come right back to West Virginia, where the Mountaineers watching a red-hot Texas Tech team shoot the lights out. Here in Morgantown, where Texas Tech Fran is 5 of 8 from three-point land.
Moving the ball well, and of course Naeem Stevenson has been a big reason why. Knocking down the 3-ball, and then we talked about Ross and Livingston. They're not really 5 men. They play the 5 spot for this team, but both of those guys can stretch your defense.
West Virginia is number 3 in the Big 12 in opponent points against, number 4 in opponent shooting percentage. That Javon Carter is able to answer, but Texas Tech is shooting 57% here in the first half, still with only a 2-point lead, but a chance to hold for 1.
And haven't turned it over very much since those early turnovers. I think they had 3, right, in the first couple minutes?
They only have 7 here in the first half, and they've forced 8. Keenan Evans. Long rebound. Taken by Ahmad. Good if it goes for Dexter Miles. Off the heel.
Halftime score.
So it's a 2-point lead for Texas Tech at halftime. But the Red Raiders shooting 55% from the field. They've handled the defensive pressure, and they haven't turned it over.
Well coached, good game plan. Remember, they beat this team early in the year.
Good first half. We'll see what lies ahead in the second half. Right now, Chris Hassel and Andy Katz are back in the studio. It's time for the halftime report. Chris? Finds a way to do it again. They survive in Waco at Baylor. Another win, another nail-biter for Kansas. France, amazing. That train just keeps on rolling. They are tough to beat when it's close with a couple of minutes to go.
I've seen this before, you know, a lot. And it's because they do find a way to win close games. And Bill Self will tell you this run has not been easy this year because they have been in so many close games. But it's in their DNA. They know how to win these games. They have a great coach, great players. Give them credit. They're close to clinching.
Well, we've got a close game of our own right here in Morgantown for a West Virginia team that's trying to rebound from as painful a loss as you could have on Big Monday at Kansas. And if they're going to win down the stretch, they have to find a way to slow down Nine Stevenson.
Well, he's been unbelievable. He's been unbelievable lately, too. We always say about junior college players, it takes about half a season at Division I to really get their feet wet. He was well coached at Seward County Community College in Liberal, Kansas. But the second part of the year and the perfect time for Chris Beard and his Red Raiders, he's playing terrific basketball.
Against the toughest competition that the league has to offer. 2 20-point games this season against top 5 teams, and now against the top 10 team, already with 17 in the first half. But right out of the locker room, Elijah Macon is able to tie it up.
I like what West Virginia did. They went inside. They run a little what we call triangle offense with 2 posts.
We'll step aside. A quick timeout called by Texas Tech. Give up the bucket. And then have to call timeout in the face of the press from West Virginia.
Turn down. This is going to be a blockbuster. Because we going to blow your mind.
That is a night of blue blood college basketball. The Sonic Blockbuster doubleheader on Wednesday. We can only hope those games are as good as the one we've had here in Morgantown. Going coast to coast is Keenan Evans, but basket interference is called against Texas Tech. Justin Gray on the follow, touched it over the cylinder. So with 30 seconds gone by in the second half, West Virginia with a chance to retake the lead.
Texas Tech staying a little 2-2-1 press. They're going back to the zone, but I think they're matching up out of it. They don't do this very much during the season.
Ahmad can't connect. There's another rebound for Gray. Gray picks up his dribble. Livingston bails him out. 7-2. Livingston. Yes.
Really good footwork right there by Livingston. He drove it. He got Macon going backwards and then stepped back and put a nice jump shot.
Carter with a nice fake, gives it up to Ahmad, leans in, and he will shoot 2. No! It looked like on the near side, a foul was called by Gary Maxwell. He made eye contact with Michael Stevens, and Michael Stevens said, no foul. That's a turnover, traveling call.
Good piece of officiating, teamwork. That's where you get into trouble when one official makes a call, the other one makes another call. Saw that in the Big Ten last week. One official had a block, the other had a charge, and it fouled out the 2 best players on the court.
Smith connects from the free throw line, and it extends the Tech lead back up to 4.
And Zach Smith's really improved his perimeter game. He has been strictly a shot blocker, energy guy. But he's increased his range this year.
Getting loose on the baseline is Ahmad. Nice pass from Elijah Macon. Stevenson needs some help. Zach Smith is there. Evans, the floater, deadens against the backboard and falls through for Keenan Evans.
That is a soft touch. But Evans has been doing that all season.
Tariq Phillips, that runner comes up short. Rebound to Zach Smith.
And the flow of this game is right up Texas Tech's alley.
Now a backcourt foul called on Tariq Phillips. That's his second. Bob Huggins looking for an offensive foul called. Instead, the foul went against Tariq Phillips. He wanted the push-off to be called. Livingston tries to bullet one underneath, looking for Ross. Adrian is able to break it up and bank it out of bounds off Ross.
That play right there is pretty much a microcosm of what Nathan Adrian means. Watch the hustle, and then just wheels, throws the ball, and he luckily finds the Texas Tech Red Raider, but that's because of the hustle play. Playing in his third to last game in this building.
9th Red Raider turnover, followed by a foul on Justin Gray. That's his second.
Nathan Adrian has started on and off for 4 years. He was injured early in his career. It really affected his outside shooting, Bob, but homegrown Morgantown High, and really a fan favorite, needless to say.
That shows you what a good shooter he can be. Shoots 45% from 3 in Big 12 play. Here's a 3. Right on cue, puts up an air ball. That was the announcer jinx to perfection. My apologies to anyone rooting for West Virginia. Gray traveled, dragged the pivot foot. 10 turnovers on each team now.
Even when they don't steal it, a pressing team like West Virginia speeds you up because they sprint out of the trap so quickly to get to the rim. Gray had to get it up quickly and then lost his balance.
Redshirt freshman Lamont West back in, replacing Nathan Adrian. And here comes Zach Smith. Quickly up off the bench. Chris Beard puts him in for Gray.
Now, I like what Coach Beard's done today. He has really used his bench liberally to match the defense that West Virginia has, trying to keep his guys fresh as well.
Carter, a little short for the 3. Tapped out and ends up with Stevenson. Carter all over him, and somehow Stevenson breaks free. Runs into a wall of Mountaineers, can't bank it home. Miles steps back. He knocks down a triple. 1-point game, 4.5 minutes gone by in the second half.
Well, we mentioned that Bob Huggins gave his team 2 days off this week after that loss. Daxter Miles was in the gym at least 2 hours every day after the missed free throw late in that Kansas game. Kind of took that loss to heart.
Ross from the corner. Connects again.
How about big to big right there? The Bruise brothers, Ross and Livingston.
Ross has 2 of Tech's 6 threes. Long rebound off the hands of Watkins, out of bounds, so it will go back over to Texas Tech with a 4-point lead when we come back. Bob Huggins' team has done their best to pressure the Red Raiders, but they keep knocking down threes.
I've had enough. You go back and coach your team. I'll keep refereeing. And you got to have control of the game, and this has been a good officiating crew.
That's the push-off I think he was looking for. Maybe another right there. Tariq Phillips was called for that foul on Naeem Stevenson. Did you see a foul either way there?
Not really. You know, both guys, like, you know, you see it in the NFL, right? The wide receiver and the cornerback. they both did the same amount of contact. So I would have had no issue with the non-call there.
And Smith get it in. 5 count.
5-second violation.
Well, that was a little longer count than the one West Virginia had on Monday night in Allen Fieldhouse. I put a stopwatch on that. 3.45 seconds.
That's not 5, is what you're saying?
It's a little below 5. Yeah.
Carter creates some space. Yes.
Now they backed off. Oh, let's see if they back off the pressure.
How about the strategy of putting Zach Smith in a ball handling position here against Javon Carter? And
Yes.
it makes it look very smooth.
He did this in game 1 and was very effective, and that's what we talked about. Zach Smith's skill level offensively is much improved.
Evans turns it over. Konate ties it up. Chris Beard wants a timeout.
There they smother. Take a look. And they just caused Evans to lose his balance. And the big freshman with the easy 2. Relentless when they're at their best. Remember, pressure, deflections, traps. The best pressing team in the country. It hasn't been quite as effective in Big 12 play, Bob, because the skill level better. But in spurts, it can be really devastating.
A little mini 7-2 run by West Virginia. We are tied for the 6th time. We've had 9 lead changes. Neither team has led by more than 6. So this game has been close from the very start.
And they've changed the press up because they don't have anybody on the ball right now.
Tough catch and an impossible one. It turns out for Zach Smith. Tariq Phillip for 3. Off the front rim. Konate an offensive rebound. Puts it back up. That won't go. Zach Smith pulls it down. Immediately double teamed though. But finds Keenan Evans.
Well, when they're at their best, West Virginia, they'll press make or miss. You just saw a good example right there. Patience and calmness now on this possession for Texas Tech. Important.
Livingston. Score the basket, I believe, plus the foul. Continuation for Anthony Livingston, who played right through contact and was fouled by Lamont West. That's his 4th.
Take a look right here. Watch him. You mentioned it. He splits. Then he's got the presence of mind to hear the whistle and get it up on the glass. Young man from Washington, D.C., working on his master's at Texas Tech, and what an addition.
Looks like they've changed the foul. Not on Lamont West. It's now on Konate. But boy, that looked like an NBA continuation that Anthony Livingston was given, and a chance for an old-fashioned 3-point play.
I just love the patience after those 2 big turnovers.
Now, West Virginia can make any team look discombobulated. Certainly Texas Tech has had their moments. But wouldn't you say overall Tech has played with a lot of composure?
Extremely well, Bob. We said it in the first half. They are really well coached. They're staying in this matchup zone, which they are using to effectiveness because they've got West Virginia standing around for the most part.
Tariq Phillips got it. Shot clock under 10. Macon looks opposite. Instead, it's Miles. Steps inside. Line drive. Jumper. Along 2 is good. And it's a 1-point game.
Good lift by Miles in the second half.
Again, Zach Smith. Tough time getting it in. Stolen by Phillip. Offensive rebound, Adrian. Carter. Looked like he might try a step-back jumper, and instead Miles will slow it down. This time Carter will step into a knockdown 2.
And by taking a man off the ball, it's like taking one guy out of the box in football. It gives you more coverage in the secondary.
Another deflection, stolen by Adrian. Carter for 3. And out.
That's what you call luck, because that ball was all the way down.
Just as we gave Texas Tech credit for their composure, they had 3 straight possessions where they couldn't have looked more erratic against the press.
And there's an important reason why, Bob. We'll show you on a dead ball.
Ryan Stevenson. 5 to shoot. Smith comes up short. Tariq Phillip drives it. He is fouled. Tariq Phillips will try and extend the West Virginia lead when we come back as Press Virginia in full effect here in Morgantown.
Straight. Here comes Jordan Bell. Windmill.
Little revenge game. Remember, Oregon lost at Colorado earlier this season. They stormed the floor in Boulder.
Dylan Ennis giving Oregon the lead. It's tight.
4 minutes. I'll tell you what, Aaron, if they can get Dylan Ennis going.
Well, guys, West Virginia's looking for a little revenge against Texas Tech. The last time these two teams met back in January down in Lubbock, Texas Tech won in overtime. And we've had a game that has been so tight from the start. Wouldn't be surprised if it went to overtime here.
No, absolutely. And we praise Tech for being so poised on the road. But give that man credit. He's made an adjustment in his press. He took Adrian off the basketball, and he put him in what I would call coverage. Bob, you get that. You're a football announcer. So there's 4 defenders versus 3 offensive players, and it's caused a lot of havoc for the Red Raiders.
Nine for Tariq Phillip. 3-point lead for West Virginia.
Take a look now. You see nobody on the ball. Here they come.
Seven to shoot. Evans stripped away. 5 to shoot for Texas Tech. Good hands by Javon Carter.
Let's see what Tech has up their sleeve. You need a low clock play right here. Low clock meaning 5 seconds or less.
Smith is going to have to force one on. He has no idea the shot clock's winding down. Now he takes a bomb. That was not a low clock play by any stretch.
I watched Chris Beard on the sideline. He didn't give them a signal. I assume they had something. They did not. That doesn't happen very much with Texas Tech. They're throwing a little pressure back at West Virginia. They're going back to what I would call a matchup zone. You can tell by the way they're switching and pointing.
Carter drives it, pulls up. 5-point lead for the Mountaineers.
How about the energy level? They've got Texas Tech on their heels right now.
Thomas, jump stop. Gray, a deep jumper, and he hits it.
It's a big shot. He doesn't shoot it well, under 30%, but timely. He does a lot of other things to help this team. Your Texas Tech, Bob, you got to weather the storm. They've been hit with a couple of haymakers, and they're only down 3.
Clock winding down again for the Mountaineers. Phillip off the heel. Long rebound to Daxter Miles. Macon the roll.
Elijah Macon.
Devin Thomas, as a ball handler, has settled things down a bit here for Texas Tech since he came back in against the press.
And Adrian's got to stay in front of him.
Wide open is Gray. He's got back-to-back jumpers.
Excellent ball movement that time by Devin Thomas. The ball was in his hands a split second.
Macon, nice spin move down the lane. How about that from Elijah Macon?
Looked like Meadowlark Lemon when he used to put the ball under his jersey. Played peekaboo that time with the shot block of Smith.
Takeaway by Phillip. Macon looking for 3 in a row.
Very dangerous time for the Red Raiders.
You can feel this game might be slipping away. Evans runs into his own man and Zach Smith. Evans leans in, pinned by Miles. But it looks like a foul is called. Miles picks up his first, but he made it count.
And I'll tell you who's making it count right now is Elijah Macon. He's making it happen. Macon with the bacon.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
Second half, Fran, with the press.
Absolutely. They took Adrian off the ball. That means they have an extra defender, let's say in coverage, okay? Like in football, and it less room to throw the ball in, and they really made it pay off. You see Zach Smith, who threw the home run ball earlier, throws it away 2 straight times, and somehow Nathan Adrian is always around the basketball in the press. And there you see the deflections today. 40 is a number they try to reach. They've got 28 right now. And interestingly enough, Texas Tech has converted on 6 of 10 when they haven't turned it over.
But Texas Tech's season high this year, turnovers in a game, was 17 coming into today. And they already have 16 against West Virginia with 7.5 minutes still to play. So they are well ahead of not only their season high pace, but they only average 10.8 turnovers per game. They've got 16 with 7.5 minutes to play. So the press has had a major impact, no question. And tomorrow at 4 Eastern on ESPN, UConn takes on Temple. The Huskies have won 6 of their last 7. They're above 500 for the first time this season. The Owls looking to get a conference win at home. That's tomorrow at 4 Eastern on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
And the top of that league is really good. Cincinnati winning again today. SMU on fire. 2 top 25 level teams. That should be a great conference tournament, the American. Biggest thing for me, Bob, is to see if West Virginia can put this game away. They have been in this spot a number of times this year. You know what's incredible to me? How about all 6 losses by 7 points or less by West Virginia?
Yeah, they are a 20-16. Their 6 losses are by an average of 3.7 points per loss. That's the smallest margin of loss per game in all of college basketball.
Yep. And how about this? They led in the second half of every loss. That's why it's important to close this game out, and West Texas Tech's not going to make it easy.
Adrian drives it off the window. Livingston's fouled by Ahmad. Team foul number 4 on West Virginia. Tonight on ESPN, number 13 Kentucky taking on Georgia in the SEC at 6 Eastern, and then it's an ACC battle between two heavyweights. Saturday primetime, 8:15. 14th ranked Virginia taking on number 10 North Carolina. College basketball tonight at 6 and 8:15 Eastern on ESPN, the ESPN app, and watch ESPN.
And West Virginia with a rare 2-game losing streak. They had trouble scoring the other night, Bob, at home against Duke. Duke hung on today to beat Wake Forest at home. Close game.
Keenan Evans fouled on a reach-in by Carter. That's Carter's third. And by the way, Nine Stevenson came back in for Texas Tech that last time out. He has yet to score in the second half. He had 17 in the first half. So you have to think Chris Beard wants to get him some shots in this last 6.5 minutes.
Well, Issa Ahmad's guarding him right now with the length and the size. So a little change up there by Bob Huggins. Nice cut.
And the conversion. Well done by Keenan Evans.
Really good cut out of the weak side corner. That's what we call a little back cut. Tech staying in that zone, matching up out of it.
Ahmad, short. Livingston, outlets to Devin Thomas. Livingston travel. Ties a season high for Texas Tech in turnovers. They're 17th.
Let's go back and watch that. Watch over here. Watch the movement on the weak side. You'll see the little back cut. Fake out. Go back door. Catches the defender flat-footed. Finishes. Good execution against pressure right there.
Livingston. Along with Temple out. You can see Zach Smith is back in, as is Justin Gray. Carter left alone.
Well, he and Miles have been in a nice rhythm today offensively.
Smith connects.
Nice feed, too, by Stevenson, who was harassed. Broke the double team.
Miles over and back. He was across the timeline. Left up in the air, caught the ball, and landed in the backcourt.
That's right. He can do that on an inbounds play, but not when the ball is live. He jumped in the air from the front court. Easy call in the backcourt. And that's an over and back. Well officiated game today. Only 17 fouls called in the second half between both teams. I think it says a lot about both teams who play good defense. They've done it today without fouling very often.
Gray on the curl. Had it poked away and taken away by Javon Carter, who's number 7 in America in steals. Issa Ahmad freight trains his way and gets called for the offensive foul as he buried Keenan Evans. Second foul on Ahmad.
Really nowhere to go. See, Evans is illegal. Once those 2 feet are established in front, the defender is allowed to move side to side and obliquely, which I think means kind of on a backwards angle. But the misnomer is a defender can't move, and he's allowed that legal guarding position. Same press, Bob, that adjustment. Let's see how Tech handles it. Nobody on the ball.
Zach Smith comes back to help out.
We've seen Adrian guard point guards all year out of the press.
Stevenson spins. Can't hit it. Still scoreless in the second half. Behind the back with 7 to shoot. Adrian from the corner. Long rebounds. Elijah Macon. Miles. In and out for 3. Another offensive rebound. That one from Adrian, and a fresh shot clock, and the crowd here loves it.
You've said that a lot this year. Offensive rebound by Adrian. That's what he does.
Again, the shot clock under 10. Carter for 3. Macon tried to keep it alive. Can Miles run it down? Tried to save it. Could not. It'll be Texas Tech ball when we come back. That was a long possession for West Virginia, though, because the hustle of that young man.
That's what he does. Watch Nathan Adrian. This is the type of effort he brings to the Mountaineers. Hometown. Living the dream.
ESPN. Coming up next here on ESPN2, got the Noles and Pittsburgh. Bob?
Chris, we still have a tight game. 5-point game with 3:23 to go. And the question for Texas Tech the entire second half, can they survive the West Virginia press?
18 turnovers, 5 more than they had in that overtime win. Another deflection.
And the 12th second half turnover forced by West Virginia.
That's the 30th deflection of the game, Bob, and those deflections have caused 11 of those 19 turnovers.
And then a foul in the backcourt. It's Devin Thomas picking up his second. Only 3 team fouls in the second half, though, for Texas Tech.
It doesn't, it's not all bad that they play a little more aggressive the next 45 seconds, because if they're trailing, they're going to want to foul to get into the bonus at some point. And that's why I would probably go all out pressure and try to steal it, even if I went to my bench so these guys didn't get in foul trouble. They're going to allow West Virginia to use a lot of clock if they have to start fouling.
Miles, back door. Carter can't find it, but he draws the foul.
Coming out of the timeout, this is Hall of Fame coaching right here. They set up the back cut. Carter's going to get 2 free throws. He knew Texas Tech would be pressuring those inbounds entries. Good time to run the back door.
Carter in double figures for the 20th time this season. Tonight after college basketball, don't miss SportsCenter at night. Kevin Connors, Nicole Briscoe will recap the All-Star Saturday festivities in the NBA and catch you up on all the highlights. SportsCenter at night tonight after Virginia, North Carolina on ESPN, streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN as Carter's up to 18.
Mountaineers with 16 fouls, so although they're pressing, they don't want to give Texas Tech easy opportunities to score on the foul line. Boy, Stevenson does come awfully close, doesn't he? To extending that arm.
There's the call Bob Huggins wanted and didn't get. Thomas has Adrian caught out on the edge. Shot clock at 9. Thomas now facing up on Phillip. Comes up short on the reverse. Out of bounds off of Macon. So a fresh shot clock for Tech. Evans shoveled it up and came up short. Miles leans in. He'll shoot 2.
Evans thought he was fouled on the other end. It looked like it slipped out of his hands, but he looked over at the officials.
And then Evans committed his third at the other end.
This guy at the foul line, Bob, he's essentially been a 3-year starter. I don't think he's played his best basketball this season by any stretch. And in conference play, he's really struggled behind the arc, and he's come off the bench the last couple games. And coaching staff told me that missed free throw at Kansas really hurt him. And he lived in the gym this week, but he's a 50-something% foul shooter anyway.
Two misses for Dax Miles.
Tell you what, I would keep fouling him.
Pressure. Carter gets a steal.
They're going to use clock. See, Chris Beard wants fouls now because they only have 5-team fouls. Excuse me, that's 6.
Aaron Ross gives the foul, and shaken up is Stevenson. Stevenson came up with a limp, and he is really in pain.
Watch Javon Carter here. Look at the nuisance he is. Finally gets it. Eventually poked free. He had like 3 deflections on that one play.
And Stevenson has to come off the floor. Well, he's in a lot of pain, and all of a sudden just seemed to come up limp. It looks like they're going to take him all the way down to the end of the bench. Nine Stevenson was the story in the first half as Chris Beard calls a timeout. He had 17 in the first half. He has not scored in the second half, and it looks like the right knee is giving him trouble. Right side of your screen. Gets back into play, and let's see if we can pick up where all of a sudden he starts to feel pain. Just that little slip when he was trying to plant the right foot seemed to extend the right knee. Well, we've got a timeout here in Morgantown. Chris, back to you in the studio.
Just want to let everybody know that, Bacon. Dwayne Bacon on that Wendy's wooden watch list. And Florida State on the road at Pittsburgh. By the end of the night, we could have a 4-way tie at the top of the ACC. That's coming up next, 6 minutes away.
Well, we do not have that tie at the top of the Big 12 because Kansas won again today. They beat Baylor on the road. They've got the 3-game lead in the loss column against the top 3 behind them. Now, not that when you get to the Big 12 tournament, anything could happen. Certainly Baylor, West Virginia, Iowa State, all worthy opponents. And how about Oklahoma State? They've really turned it on second half of the Big 12 season.
Absolutely. Really done a good job. They were really floundering. Coach Underwood, Brad Underwood, made that defensive adjustment. They backed off that half-court pressure a little bit, packed in their defense. It's worked wonders. Have an excellent backcourt. Jeffrey Carroll, an outstanding scorer. And West Virginia will use some clock here.
This possession's a must-stop for Texas Tech.
Yes, this will be the last one that they'll be able to play out before they have to start fouling.
Bolden lost his balance, tied up, taken away by Keenan Evans. Evans on the drive with the left hand.
Oh, that was nice. He waited till the last minute and decided to go left instead of right. Good hang time.
West Virginia lost a 14-point lead with 2:45 to go Monday night at Allen Fieldhouse. Can they hold on today with a minute to go?
Again, they'll use all 30, and this is the last time Tech's going to be able to do this.
Phillip off the mark from 3. Texas Tech has it in a 2-possession game. Devin Thomas.
Oh, they had the 3 on the weak side.
Evans drives it instead. Cruises in for an easy 2. It's a 2-point game. 30 seconds to go.
Now you have to foul. And I really wouldn't worry about who to foul because you want to stretch the game out.
On top of that, you have to think, even with Javon Carter, a 76% free throw shooter going to the line, that there is in the back of these West Virginia players' minds a little bit of, could we be doing this to ourselves again after what happened on Big Monday?
Well, exactly, and not only Monday, Bob, but as we pointed out, they've led in all 6 losses this year in the second half.
Texas Tech now out of timeouts with 26 seconds to go. And check that, a timeout was not called, so the players are all being called back to the line as Javon Carter, if he can hit a pair here, will make this a 2-possession game with 26 seconds remaining. Texas Tech made 6 threes all in the first half. They haven't made a 3 in the second half.
Checking in for the Red Raiders.
All right, Bob, let's talk game management here as Stevenson returns. Texas Tech does not need a 3, even if they're down 3. To me, it's drive, get the quick, sure 2, and set up your press again.
Only 1 of 2, so it's still a 1-possession game.
But they got to go. You cannot wait.
Stevenson able to get back in the game, and he's got the ball through a double team. Fading away is Evans. He's got it. 1-point game as Keenan Evans knocks it down.
Same thing now. Press, and don't worry about who you foul. Just get a foul now. There it is.
Given quickly by Devin Thomas. That's his 4th.
Devin Thomas, his 4th.
Boy, this is a tough shot here by Keenan Evans. Good job by Stevenson to break that double team. And watch Evans. That's a pro shot right there to fade away.
Now, if Carter makes them both, 3-point game. If you're West Virginia, are you thinking about fouling rather than letting Texas Tech get a 3 off?
I think it's too early. But the other question is, if you're Texas Tech, do you have a 3-point play that you can set up right now? Let's see. Or do you sprint the court and get the quick 2?
They're out of timeouts.
Right, right. The question here is, do you have that play? Because if you don't, you're better off just going to the rim and scoring and setting up your press again.
Does Bob Huggins want a timeout? He does. You'd have to think with his team now to run through that exact scenario. Guys, it's a 3-point game, 13 seconds to go. Do you keep your eye on the clock, and does it get to kind of that moment of critical mass where you know the opposition has to take a 3, and maybe then you look to foul?
So you know that if you're Texas Tech, right? So you tell your team, we get it in, don't worry about the pressure, attack. Because let's say they do foul you and there's only 10 seconds on the clock. You now have a chance to shoot 2 free throws and still set up your press.
Sure.
If Texas Tech lollygags in the backboard and it gets to 6-5-4, then sure, if you're West Virginia and you're well schooled, you say, let's give that foul, but not anywhere near the 3-point line so that you don't endanger somebody going up for a shot and you foul a 3-point shot.
How much, if you're West Virginia, does the clock have to do with when you make that decision?
Everything. Everything.
And at what point, if you were telling your players, here, you're Bob Huggins, where do you hit that time?
6 or less.
6 seconds or less, that's when you're looking to foul.
That's me, but that should be practiced every day or a couple days a week during the season. Nobody
Evans can run the baseline.
Yep, nobody on the ball, making the center fielder. Got to get it back, and he's got to go.
Evans threw some pressure, and now you have to think Texas Tech is going to look for a 3.
Yes, they have to.
That's a long 2. He hits it. Check that, it's a 3. It looked like the official said his toe was on the line. And now they may have to go to the monitor to check. Make sure it's a 3. If it is, Keenan Evans has tied the game with 4.6 to go. How about that?
He's made something out of nothing, Evans, the last 2 plays. The turnaround fade away, and let's take a look.
Just behind the line. And a team with an opportunity to foul at some point to avoid the opposition from shooting a three. Doesn't do it. And now West Virginia's in a tie game with 4.6 to go.
Exactly right. And now you have to flip the switch and go on offense if you're West Virginia. And this is something we know because we've taught this to our kids over and over. 4.6 seconds is really 5 dribbles, okay? So if you're Carter or Miles, whoever gets it, you don't have to look at the shot clock anymore. You know you've got 5 dribbles or 4 dribbles and a pass. How do we know that? Because we practiced it, and we know that. So when they get the ball in bounds, he needs to just go right to the rim. There's a chance, Bob, he could go all the way, but he's going to have time to draw defense and kick it out.
After a collapse at Allen Fieldhouse, 14 up with 2:45 to go on Monday night for West Virginia. They have given up the lead in the closing moments again, this time to Texas Tech at home. 4.6 seconds to go. West Virginia with a chance to win it potentially at the buzzer, or they could be headed to overtime again.
Now Tech knows that, so look what Tech does. In order for them not to get a running start, they're pressing. See, oh, this would be a great hook and ladder play for Miles taking it out because there's nobody on him. Let's see if they get it right back to him.
Here comes Carter.
Oh, it went the other way.
Carter with 2 seconds to go. Carter, did he get it off in time? Off the heel, and we go to overtime regardless.
You see how many dribbles he had? He had plenty of time. I would have thrown it back to Miles, who had nobody on him. He was the...
By Continental Tire, the second consecutive game for West Virginia that their fans can't believe is in overtime and not ending with a win. This close, though, with Javon Carter to winning it in regulation.
Here's Miles. Now watch when Adrian gets the ball. Miles is going to cut up the court, and there's going to be nobody on him. If they just throw it back to Miles, he's got the running start. And as it turned out, Carter got 8 dribbles out of that play. Almost made it, but boy, I wish Adrian, if you're a West Virginia fan, would have looked opposite and checked down, if you will, to the little running back coming out of the backfield, right? I got to make it in football terms so even you understand.
I'm trying to keep up. West Virginia has seen this script before. 0-3 in overtime this season, including the heartbreaker at Allen Fieldhouse on Monday. And how about the guts shown on the road by Texas Tech to take all of those punches and come back and force the extra 5 minutes?
Well, we raved about Keenan Evans and how much he's improved. And boy, has he shown us.
Stevenson can't score again in the second half or overtime, and a foul called on Justin Gray. That's the third on Gray. Still a 1-and-1. That's team foul number 9 on Texas Tech, and West Virginia still with only 16 fouls. So, still 1-and-1 opportunities to come.
Bob, you and I have seen West Virginia and Kansas this year. And if you put both of those teams in an empty gym and play shirts and skins, you might not be able to tell who the better team is. The difference is Kansas has won a lot of close games, and unfortunately West Virginia has lost a number of these games, and that's why they're sitting here right now in a nail bite. Change the press back. Now there's somebody on the ball.
Barely get it in.
Carter's going to face guard Evans.
Evans double team. Foul called with 6 on the shot clock, and Evans in the midst of a double team, but Daxter Miles reached in. That's his second. It'll be a 1-and-1 for Keenan Evans, who, by the way, is 4th best in the Big 12 at the line, shooting 81%.
You and I talked early in the year often about the best guards in this league, and we've mentioned Morris and Frank Mason, Devontae Graham, Juwan Evans. We got to start talking about this guy in the second half of the Big 12 season. He's right up there with them.
24 for Keenan Evans. Hits the game-tying 3, and now starts off overtime with a pair at the line for Texas Tech.
And Tech's going to come right back and press West Virginia.
Keenan Evans has scored the last 11 in a row for Tech.
Quiet. This place is quiet right now.
They're worried.
Yep.
Adrian. Can't find the bottom, and it's saved by Stevenson.
Good challenge by Zach Smith. He played vertically, didn't really even leave his feet. Josh Gray's got a little bit of a mismatch.
Way short.
I thought he should have driven that ball on Macon.
Miles for 3. Adrian couldn't out-battle Stevenson for the rebound.
But he might get him here.
Stevenson maintains his composure.
Texas Tech, they've got some winnable games coming up. This would be huge. They look like an NCAA team today.
Foul on Miles as he tried to track Keenan Evans. That'll put Evans back at the line for a 1-and-1. But that's the last thing that Bob Huggins wanted. Keenan Evans didn't even have the ball in his hands. Fouled on the cut. And now you put the hottest player on the floor for either team at the free throw line.
Yeah, they wanted to keep it from him, but they were a little over-exuberant.
.13:41 to go in regulation. That's the last time that Texas Tech had the lead. Now they've got the lead in overtime.
I'll tell you right now, all of the pressure in this game is squarely on West Virginia. We expected a bounce back after Kansas, and look at this turnover, Bob.
A backcourt steal for Texas Tech. Looking to add to the lead.
If you're Tech right now, use some clock. Nothing forced. And if you're in trouble, give it to Evans.
Evans off the rim. Over 8 minutes since West Virginia scored a field goal. Miles left alone. Can't break the string. Elijah Macon is fouled. Out-hustled Zach Smith to the basketball. That's Smith's second.
After Texas Tech, you're looking at a 63% foul shooter, so the guys you have to be concerned about right now, it's not Macon, it's Ahmad and Adrian on the offensive glass.
Macon only a 63% free throw shooter so far this season. Has a chance to tie it.
Watch Adrian, Bob. Watch how he wedges himself inside.
Issa Ahmad's on the bench, and he's walking around gingerly. Tariq Phillip back in as he replaced Miles. We are tied with 2:06 to go in overtime.
All right, here comes the pressure again. Nothing new. This time nobody on the ball. Extra defender playing center field.
Ross. Yes!
Boy, that's the definition of a bull in a china shop. He drove right into Adrian's chest and backed him down. Remember, Ross was all Big 12 honorable mention last year.
Carter creates some space. Can't hit the fadeaway. Foul called. And it will stay at this end. And it looks like it'll be some West Virginia free throws coming.
Watch this move right here. Gonna drive it. Really good. He didn't chicken wing Adrian out. Held on to that arm, bar arm, and then got the shot up.
12th time this season, Aaron Ross has been in double figures, but he just picked up his 3rd foul. So here's Elijah Macon, who just hit 2 pressure free throws to tie it. Trying to do it again. Only his 2nd game in double figures this season.
If I'm Texas Tech right now, I'm still worried about Adrian. We've seen this time and time again this year on the missed free throws. See, if I were Thomas, I would pinch in on Adrian and double team him.
Texas Tech has lost 34 of their last 35 true road games against ranked opponents and haven't beaten back-to-back top 10 opponents since Bob Knight was on the sideline in 07. A miss from Stevenson, but it ends up with Keenan Evans.
I would use clock right here. West Virginia has the possession arrow, 2 timeouts. Texas Tech has 1 timeout.
Smith leans in, can't get it to go. Ross had it taken away by Javon Carter.
Well, the players have to call timeout, and they finally did. Huggins wanted it, but Mike Stewart is not allowed to give it to him.
West Virginia hasn't made a field goal
since their last 4, and they're capable of winning all 4, but if they split their last 4, 8 and 10, and then winning an opening round game would get them in. But right now, the only concern is them getting a stop, and I'm anxious to see if they'll go to that matchup zone or they'll just go straight man. Now, they're going to go man. No, they're going to go zone. They're going to match up out of it. And now they're playing man out of it. How about that?
13 to shoot. Javon Carter, shot clock under 10. He will drive it. Fouled before he put the shot up. So Javon Carter will go to the line to try and put West Virginia on top with just under 20 seconds to go. Evan Thomas is fouled out. That's his 5th.
They'll get 30 quick seconds, but they're going to have to sub immediately. And now it changes the dynamic right here.
And what also changes the dynamic is that is 10 team fouls against Texas Tech. So a double bonus automatic 2 for Javon Carter.
Right now, Chris Beard has the timeout, but he's also setting up potentially a last-second play. To me, if I get it in cleanly and I get it up the court cleanly, depending on whether you're down 1, if you're tied, you're going to get the last shot. If you're down 1, you attack as soon as you can with a chance to get the offensive rebound.
Boy, not only has West Virginia lost a ton of close games, 6 losses by an average of 3.7 points per loss, but 5 of those 6 losses have come to unranked teams. 1, of course, to Texas Tech down in Lubbock.
That's a huge miss. That means theoretically Tech has a chance to get the final shot. But again, offensive rebounding. Both bigs are in for West Virginia.
1 of 2 for Carter. He ties it. Here comes Kanate back in.
You know why he's in? Because he's their best shot blocker.
Someone's got to go out. It's Elijah Macon.
Again, no one on the ball. That gives them the extra defender.
It's into Keenan Evans. Here we go. 15 seconds remaining.
Don't need to call timeout. They got the matchup they want. Got to go at about 5.
Evans with 5, still a long way from the bucket. Keenan Evans looking for some room. Step back for the win. That's off the mark. Double overtime. We play on in Morgantown. We'll step aside. After a 30-second timeout, we'll come right back to the Coliseum here in Morgantown. 5 more minutes on the clock between Tech and West Virginia.
No matter.
Time number 2 presented by Continental Tire as West Virginia, they just can't find a way to put the ball in the bucket. Having said that, Fran, overtime will continue. This close, though, to a Texas Tech win.
Well, here's what I want, Bob. Once the ball gets into the middle of the floor here, you see the shooters. Shooters are down here. You must go to the basket. You cannot settle for the step-back jump shot. They're closing the floor a little bit, but if you're Keenan Evans, you've got to find a way to get back by Javon Carter and make a second defender play you. Great offensive players in the backcourt are able to draw a second defender and create an open man.
That's about the only thing that Keenan Evans did wrong towards the end of regulation and in overtime. He's been a one-man wrecking crew for Texas Tech. Now who is the advantage rest with in double overtime? Either team?
No. I mean, maybe the home team, marginally.
Although it's the home team that probably can't believe they're in overtime to begin with, much less double overtime.
Exactly right.
Javon Carter ends up with the tip, leans in. Finally a bucket for the Mountaineers.
Boy, it's unfortunate for Texas Tech. They won the tip, but he tipped it too far.
The first basket for the Mountaineers in about 11 minutes.
A lot of switching by West Virginia. It's bothering Tech's motion offense.
5 to shoot. Evans gives it up. Zach Smith turns, comes up short. How about the hustle play by Stevenson?
Got a new clock if they don't like it, but he's got to get it out of the corner.
Ryan Stevenson with a shot fake. Pulled the string.
This is fun. You look out there, both teams suck and win right now.
Great catch by Phillip. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Macon, yes.
How good has he been today? Unstoppable good.
Only 1 miss from the field.
What a lead. Every night we see something special.
Evans in and out for 3.
Basketball gods. That's who kept that ball from going in. The basketball gods.
Carter, tough shot. In and out. The tip follow is good for Dexter Miles.
Basketball gods shining down on the Mountaineers in the double overtime.
Chris Beard wants a timeout. Maybe to say a prayer or two.
Elijah Macon getting it done today. He posting up, forcing you inside, and he's excited about it. And then Dexter Miles, littlest guy on the court at the moment. He's going to sneak in there and get something done.
There is a world like no other world.
Keenan Evans, of course, was a one-man gang, but it seems like West Virginia's now keying on him. So if you're Chris Beard, where do you go?
You know, they run a motion offense, which means all 5 guys get a chance to touch it. Eventually, it's going to come back to likely Keenan Evans, and then he's going to make a play for himself or his teammates. This is doable if you're Texas Tech. But this next possession, they need a score, because if they don't get one, West Virginia is going to use shot clock as much as they can. Changing defense, 1-3-1 out of the timeout. Good call by Huggins.
Stevenson, shot clock winding down. Evans along the baseline. A fadeaway is there for Zach Smith.
Well, he has really improved his game from the perimeter. Really impressed with him.
What a big possession that was for Texas Tech. Staying in touch here with 2:08 to go in double overtime.
Staying in that matchup zone. Keeps West Virginia standing around a little bit.
Carter, a handoff to Miles, gets it back, 3 to shoot. Adrian beats the timer, doesn't get the roll, but Miles crashes the glass again.
From the doghouse to the penthouse for Daxter Miles.
Stevenson goes right at Miles. Short. Traveling called on Brandon Watkins. Will keep it with Texas Tech. That has the crowd very angry, but a minute ago, they were all out of their seats for Daxter Miles.
Here he comes down the lane. Shot goes up. I talked to Daxter Miles today because I know what the coaches felt. Felt like he wasn't giving his best effort. And I said, where's the Baltimore toughness? We're seeing a little bit of it today.
Evans double clutches. One-handed rebound for Elijah Macon. And he had something to say about it as he pulled that one down.
Well, I think he's excited about the way he's played today.
He should be, a double-double.
Yeah. Shown a lot of emotion, positive emotion. Can't wait for the Big 12 tournament.
Carter. Can't finish it. Still loose. Carter saves it.
Carter's limping too.
Adrian is fouled. But about as valuable a player as West Virginia has, Javon Carter, and is trying to walk off whatever hobbled him on the baseline.
Nate Adrian at the free throw line, 2 shots.
Losing the lead on Monday night. Coming back today and losing the lead at the end of regulation. You can sense in this crowd, they're just like Bob Huggins. You know, crowd might be with a 7-point lead with 52 seconds to go confident. This whole crowd right now is still not going to be satisfied with the clock's at all zeros.
There's only one difference between Bob Huggins and the crowd, Bob. He's going to be in practice tomorrow, making sure these mistakes get corrected.
Like Keenan Evans getting fouled.
Exactly.
By Javon Carter.
They're going to be home eating pepperoni rolls, and he's going to be in here practicing.
What a day it's been for Keenan Evans. 26 points as Carter picks up his 4th.
And he's established himself, as we said, as one of the best players in the league, especially in a league with great backcourt players. Now, I talked to him today, and I said, you played for 2 really good coaches. What did Tubby Smith teach you? And he said, he taught me, you know, accountability, toughness, doing things the right way. And then he said, Coach Beard has just taken it another step and given me a lot of confidence in my own game. And he's a product of 2 really good coaches.
Also checking in, Millington.
Keenan Evans ties a career high. He's got 28, but his team is down 5. 44.5 to go.
Now this calls for fouling as soon as you can.
And the foul immediately given by Naeem Stevenson. That's his 3rd.
You know, a lot of times in this situation, Bob, you see teams try not to foul the great foul shooters, and they wind up wasting time. Now, in this case, Phillip is under 70, but time is more important sometimes than who you get a chance to foul. Sometimes you don't have that opportunity.
Stays perfect today, though. 7 for 7. Shooting free throws for Tariq Phillip.
You ever notice about Phillip? You never see him smile, and you never see him with any negative body language. Stoic. Evans is back. Carter's going to try to keep him from touching it.
Ross for 3. Another rebound for Macon. Adding to his second career double-double. And now Texas Tech has to foul.
Can't wait.
Phillip gets it across. Ross gives the foul with just under 24 seconds to go. And now for the first time, the crowd sensing that they can
exhale.
At least a little move towards celebration and away from anxiety.
Oh, they're going to be celebrating tonight in Morgantown, and I'm going to be here for 2 more days. As you and I will be back here on Monday night.
Texas comes in for Big Monday.
I'll get to a couple good Italian restaurants, get to Bob Evans for breakfast. I got it all mapped out, Bobby.
You always do. .14 for Tariq Phillip. Ross forces a 3. And at the backboard first, Carter's got the rebound. And that should do it. Baxter Miles. Off to Adrian, and he'll dribble out the final 10 seconds.
I like it. Good sportsmanship. Great game. Both teams. What an effort.
West Virginia lost the lead in the last 2 minutes and 45 seconds on Monday. Lost at Allen Fieldhouse, where they lose.